it's either oilseed radish or it's digestate. It may be that they're too, what's the word for it, too excessive and will push us over the nitrogen levels that we require, in which case, and also nitrogen levels are dependent on crop as well. So that's an added thing. It may be, for the difference between, say, a cereal crop and an oilseed crop is oilseed needs a higher nitrogen content, and I'm just saying that as an example, not as a fact. So you can only put, or you want to put down digestate slurry manure before you plant your oilseed, but you never want to do it after switching oilseed to cereal, because that would put too much nitrogen in the ground for the cereal, and you probably lose yield in that situation. But each crop type has a different nitrogen requirement. But for pH, it's the soil type. So lime is lime, and you might, on some soils, you could probably get away with 3 or 4 harvests before you feel I really need to add the lime back in because I'm losing 10-15% yield at this point. But conversely, on others, you might, I need to apply lime every time because the drop is so drastic and the yield is poor to start with and gets more horrendous as time goes, with just a minor drop. There's certainly going to be a lot of math involved when we get on to precision farming. How are we doing with our seeds? Down to 28%. Saying not sure we're going to complete this entire field. Guessing not. We'll need another load of seed. Just have to wait for the crops to grow. Yay, crops. Keep dealing with the sheeps, doing sheepy things. So I've commented before about these electric wire poles being fake. Oops, bounce in the field though. Well, I kind of don't mind the fact that I don't have to drive around them. Realistically, I should. And it's not a big hassle to actually do that. When you're working with a worker, however, workers just have major problems if they were actual obstacles. The wires keep going on that? Yeah, keep going some way. Could go for a walk in that forest and see where the wires go, but not going to bother. Inverse. That was less than ideal. That we're at 95. And just close your eyes, don't look. I may go all OCD and get that bit done again. I think we're going to need to complete this row and go back to the resupply point. Oh, you know what I might do? It's OCD time. We got 24 litres of seed in this thing, so what the heck? Let's do that. Okay, I'm happy now. Fill up the sunflowers some more. Oh, it's actually 720, not 750. I think those pallets are about 1,200. Maybe more. Maybe they might be 2,100. So not quite another full load of seed from that one. Turn it on, and that's good. Oh, yeah, well, fertilizer, 40%. Okay, doing the math again. So it's 16 plus 13. We are going to need to top up the fertilizer tanks for the other field, or at least put a little bit in there. It's a shame we've got the fertilizer back at the yard. That partial. No, we used up all of it, did we? I think we've got about 35 litres back at the yard, so that's not going to make a difference for anything. And engage reverse into engage, lower, and go. I think this is pretty much going to hit this edge all the way down, maybe a little bit more than. It's actually a good end result. Oh, that's right. So last year I didn't plant all the way up to the edge of the field for sugar beets. So there is this whole strip on the left-hand side that's not receiving any fertilizer or any benefit from fertilizer. It's receiving the fertilizer, but there's no benefit because we never had a crop there to harvest. Last year was sugar beets. Okay, at this point, I'm going to disengage the GPS and we will freehand it around the end. So although we are now changing the contours of the planting on the field, don't know if this is realistic for the UK. It is something that American farmers will do. They'll plant the rows, and then some of them will go round the headlands to fill out the field. They normally wouldn't plant the rows all the way to the edge, like I did. That's fine. But you get this sort of different look around the edge of the field because the farmer went round and got 100% planted by doing this. And typically the farmers I've seen doing this, you're talking smaller, just smaller fields. So you kind of want to get as much yield as you can out of it. I don't know how it helps their harvester, although harvester you can run around with the headlands just picking up where you planted, assuming your header is the same width as your planter, which is obviously the most ideal situation. And then once you've taken off your headland, you can run around the middle, or run up down the middle. There we go. That field we will call done. Turn the GPS off, and we'll head back to the field entrance. We need to unfold this, so we will do that. Get the warning markers out, the wheels out, the hitch out, and drop that. So I said I probably wouldn't plant the other field. Yeah, I'm going to plant the other field. First things first, we will refill this just so it's good to go. And I don't think there's enough seed in the tank to do the entire field, so we're going to have to bring the Land Rover with us too. Woo! How about we do that? Beacons on. Drive at 32 miles an hour. Yeah, probably not realistic. Also, would love to buy this field on the left too, but I would need a much larger harvester. And 1.7 million pounds, so that's not going to happen anytime quite soon. Okay, drop that now, block the road. And back up onto this again. Yeah, that's a little bit ungainly. And fold away the bits. There we go. How does that? Oh, that is what it is. So. GPS setup for the other field was better. This is probably why I ended up with a whole row of sugar beets on the other field that, or a whole row of dirt on the other field that didn't have any sugar beets in it. Was because use the same GPS setup for both of these fields, and it's not strictly correct. Anyway, go back down to here. So yes, no trucks, unsuitable for HGVs. It don't, well, the sign kind of says prohibited because it's a circle with a line through it. But the words underneath don't say prohibited, they say, yeah, it's probably not a good idea if you drive your big HGV down through here. So we'll keep this gate open for now. I think I'll shut the main one to the entrance. And the reason for that is we are going to have to herbicide both of those fields when growth happens. We can't apply anything to the sunflower seed field because we included fertilizer in the planting, so the fertilizer is applied after the seed, and so that field is treated as planted having just been fertilized. So you now have to wait one growth stage before you can apply fertilizer or herbicide to it. Now I have a feeling you could come back with a weeder, but not. Oh, I think we crashed. I'm in the tractor. No, I think let's turn the GPS off. Turn the engine on. I kind of want to load the seed from the back of the truck, so I'm going to maneuver this so we're biased in favour of the back of the trailer. So that's that one emptied. Oh, we're now picking up fertiliser, so it looks like both those fertiliser pallets are going to be partials. That's a shame. And then a little bit of seed off that one. That's good enough. With any luck, we'll get most of this field done and only have to worry about that partial, remains of a pallet on the back of the trailer and not eat into the front one. Okay, turn the GPS on. Seeder is on. Tractor's ready to go. Let's plant this field, and I am going to have to do that right hand edge completely by hand because the edge of the field is about half the distance between, the edge of the map is half the distance between the edge of the field and the hedge. I'd prefer it if it was in the hedge because that gives you a visual reference, but so frequently I come on this field and I'm dragging the seeder against the edge of the map. One, it looks realistic, and one, I can't tell where the edge of the map is visually. It's a dull overcast day, ground's still damp. Turn. How's that look? Yeah, we're a little bit off the field. At this point, I'm trying to ensure that the headland pass will be completed in one rotation of the field. So I don't want to leave the bit that I missed up there wider than the cedar is. Now that is a big risk at the bottom of this field. Actually, I've said this before. Well, should we be planting this east to west, north to south rather than east to west? Because the field is wider that way than it is long this way. So you have to turn around more frequently planting it this way. So we get down to here, a little bit further. So that little triangle there is narrower than the cedar. And magic telephone poles, power poles, whatever. And off we go again. Of course, the other thing is, realistically, you probably wouldn't plant right to the edge of the field, because you don't want crop growing in your grass headland. But that's what OCD Farmer does. Set that running on cruise and check back with the sheet. 379. Cleanliness is 70%. All is 284. That's the other thing. Difference between 17 and 19 is the sheep pallet. Wall pallets used to be was it 2,000 litres, and so with a 4 pallet drop, that's 8,000 litres had to be produced before you had to worry about moving them. With 19, the pallets are only 17 or 1,000 litres, so you only get 4,000 litres before you have to move a pallet. And even if I don't know if sheep produce the same amount of wool between 17 and 18, I really haven't bothered to do the science. But if they're producing wool at the same rate, you end up with twice as many pallets. And each 1,000 litres is worth half what it used to be worth in 17. So income is less, but also the work involved is more because you have more pallets to move. Which is the opposite of arable crops. The more crop you produce in 1,000 acres, or in an acre, the more money that crop, the more crop you produce in 1,000 acres, the more money per acre that crop is worth over a lower yield crop. So the more work you have to do, the more money you get paid. Keep on cruise control. So we're already used almost half of a tank. So what else do we need to do now? Once this field's planted, we are done for another game day. It will be day 4 mid-spring. Oh, that field probably needs to be fertilised. Somehow I didn't mess that up. I don't know how. There you go. So which is the field? 17 is the field we usually work as a contract field. This is a fake field. So that dirt on the right is just a fake field. That field with something growing in it is a contract field. We could go there and do fertilization and improve the yield. It's one of the reasons I don't want to buy the field, because it is available as a contract if I ever need to make a little money extra. There's this field here is also contract field. I think 38 is as well, but to get to 38, can't remember if you can drive through there or whether you have to drive all the way around to here and come in from this side. Oh. Pay attention to your driving. So at least for now, we're at the point where we're buying fields or occasionally buying new equipment. Don't really want to be losing the ability to make money from other fields. Problem with the grass fields is the only contracts you get are silage bale contracts, and I don't have a wrapper. Otherwise I could do that with my own equipment. I am considering wrapping, getting a bale wrapper, just because it's easier than doing the grass collection for the silage bunker. Have two silage bunkers in the yard, which we really don't need to use because we don't have cows to feed. If we were going cattle, I would produce more silage and not sell it. But for right now, having a bale wrapper would be a good thing. The problem is we would have to get one of those. It's 54,000. Or I could get a fast baler. I do like the idea of a fast baler. But then we would have bales rolling all over the place. This map does have the no bales past hedges what is it? Thing. Script, I think. So the bales will stay on the field you bale them in. They'll just roll down